getting the iron warmed up here and doing a couple of things. After I drop my keyboard on the floor. Oh, that's great. Fantastic. Oh, great. Let's see. Get over here to this is going. Excuse me. I get this popped out here. There we go. Oh, did that not go? Oh, okie doke. Let's see. Let's try that again. Excuse me, guys. All right. A quick little test here for this. If it'll let me. All right, that's there. Cool. Get back over here and I will clear it. Okay. All right, so I've got the switch over here real quick. Let's try this. Okay, so I'm going to do a proper video on this µKENBAK-1 kit, but I figured while I was capturing some footage for soldering it up and stuff, just would do that live in case anybody was wanting to check that out. And there's a couple of links, if you look in the description, I'll put in there. One's about the general history of the kenbak, which is pretty cool. And there's another link that's actually up for this kit. But yeah, I've got no affiliation. I bought that with my own money and stuff, so I'm not advertising for the kit. I just think it's neat. So that's that. I guess here we go. Hope everybody's doing all right. I think I said that already, but I'll say it again. Okay, now I'm going to look at my documentation here, and I believe it's saying it wants us to put these resistors in first. These little resistor doodads here. I think I've gone through this before, but I'll go through it again anyway. Got some ICs here, the app Mega that's got the kind of code for the emulation, and some buffer level shifter things here. Some like plastic hex standoffs to space things out, LEDs, main switch, the little tactile switches, switch buttons. This is a serial interface thing. This is a real-time clock, the resistor networks. These two things here go on the end of the case. This is the case right here. You know, the PCB for everything, the front, I guess the decorative panel, and some screws. That's the main things that are part of this kit. So we're going to look at these. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way now that I've shown what we've got here. And we will start. Sorry, and I always, like, I know I throw around we and I, whatever. You know what I mean. I figured that either, not necessarily real time, but when you're watching, we're checking this out together. So I'm going to say we. Correctness be darned. All right. Now this also has a little crystal in it. So, all right, I'm going to hit record here on this camera so we can grab some of this. And I think maybe I'm going to double check the resistor arrays and see which area they go in. I'm looking at the documentation here. Okay, these are 2.2K arrays, and the black ones are 10K. And there's a dot on these. That dot goes in the direction as indicated on the PCB, I believe. Where the little square is there. That's the way that the resistor array has an orientation. It's got a little dot on there. Might zoom in here in a second for that. Alright, so does it tell me which one goes where? Let's see. Well, they only fit in one place because of the different leg sizes, so that's probably a no-brainer. And there's only two types, so we don't have to think much for that. Okay. Alright, so we'll do that first. Get some solder over here. Right. I'm going to get my little vise here. Move this over here. Let's take this stuff out of here, out of the way. Maybe we can do that like this. Wrong way. Got a spinny doodad here, but it likes to pop off. It's very exciting, exhilarating information here. There's all the fun stuff that gets disappears in the prepared video, right? Okay, almost there. Let's try this way. That should be all right. And what I may do is zoom in a little bit on that, if that makes sense. I'll put a little stop here, and I'm going to go there. Okay. Start that back up. All right, so see there's a little square there on these areas. Square. And then there is a dot. There's a dot on the resistor right there, if you can see that. That is where that goes. So these folks should be able to set like this. Hey, Rudy, what is up, dude? I'm going to try out the chat highlight. Let's see if that works. Did it work? Maybe it did. Hey, cool. All right. Thanks for stopping by, man. Just messing around with a little KENBAK clone here. And if you haven't heard of it, it's pretty cool. I got a link in the description. Kind of a neat little piece of computing history. And this is a little kit, kind of a scaled down kit, hence the name Pico KENBAK. Kind of starting out with the some resistor arrays here. And I don't have any blue tack. I may put a little blue tape on these and flip it over, and hopefully they won't look too bad. Ideally, I'd like them standing up straight, but we'll see if we can do that. Probably overkill, but it's what I've got handy and it's what I'm using. Hey, Rudy, you see all the cool stuff people are seeing and showing off at the Retro Computer Festival East? Wish I could have been there. There's some neat stuff there. Fun seeing other folks share. It's nice that everybody shares when they're there. Kind of lets us vicariously attend through them. All right. Now, let's just do this over here. Hopefully nothing falls loose. One message a minute. Let me change that, bud. I'll change that right now. Give me 1 second. Be right back. Oops. Let's see here if I can change that. All right, I'm gonna uncheck. Okay. All right, I think slow mode should be off now. Sorry. Hopefully I was across the room. That might not have picked me up that great. Okay. Oh, there you go. Yay. Alrighty, let's see if I can get these in here without making a goof up of it all. This keyboard right here is kind of awkward. Let me stick that right there. And is that shot in the thing? Let me see. Yeah, I think so. That's probably kind of decent enough. Let me do that. Oops, as I bump it. Okay. Let me get my chat back up here. Yeah, so this is a if you look in the if you can check the description, I think yeah, you can look at that while I'm streaming. It's a µKENBAK-1. Spell if you yeah, like this right here. Well, it's a Pico µKENBAK-1. But there was a system. It's kind of neat, you know. I think a lot of folks, or I mean, I was included in that. You know, I think a lot of folks kind of said, you know, that I guess the Altair was maybe one of the first mass-produced, or you know, kind of available things that the normal consumer could buy. Like that was considered kind of like the first PC per se. And so this one doesn't have the capabilities as that, but I think in a couple of the museums and people or groups have said now the kenbak would be considered the first personal computer, although it didn't have any I/O to speak of, and it was more of a learning device. But it was kind of neat. I think the guy he had the idea a while. His name was Ken Blankenbaker, but it's and the cool thing about it, it's all discrete logic. There's no processor in here, so because this came out in 1971, so it's all like discrete logic and stuff, and it's only got 256 bytes of memory. But it's kind of neat. What I was hoping to do is you know, make a thing talking about a little bit of the history and show this kit that put together. And then there's a PDF of the original that has like some exercises that went with it for, I guess, educational purposes. And it would be kind of neat to go through some of those because, you know, it's all, you know, the I/O is right here, what you see. There's nothing else. There's no tape or any other, there's no peripherals. It wasn't, you know, it was not made to be the same kind of thing as like an Altair as far as capabilities, but it was something that a person could buy technically. So, oh. Tape's coming loose as I'm yapping away here. Let me see if I can tack that up a little bit. Or I'll get this in here and then I'll hold it while I push it up. This might take longer than I thought. All right. Get one more on there. Yeah, it's, you know, kind of the typical story, like the guy who created it in his garage. And there are only, I think, 40 to 50 of them made. So now, of course, they fetch pretty good. I mean, they don't get like original Apple I money, but they fetch a fair amount of cash as collector's items. The real ones, not this one. The real one's a decent amount bigger than this. And the guy who came out with these kits, Chris Davis, he made a couple of like real kind of life-size ones, but I think it might have been a little bit of a hassle. I don't think he's making any more of them. So the ones he had that were the full size, he sold those and isn't making any more. He's still got these available. Yep. Tape is handy. I probably should have applied it a little differently, but it's kind of holding it at least close by, and I'm going to hold it up here and get the corners and then get the middle ones, and that should get me where I want to be. You been doing anything neat with your Nabu lately? Oh, I see you said BRB, yeah. See you when you get back. Whoops. That tape's coming right off. You got that up there just in the nick of time. Hey, all right. Let's see here. Alrighty, I think I got that. Well, my tape's way off on the back ones there. Let me adjust that some. Oh yeah, it completely fell out. Alright. Let me get that back in the hole there. Oops. Alright, those top ones are fine. Okay. Oh yeah, that board looks really cool. I think I saw your post on that, or your video. That's going to be super handy for folks to when they're working on their Nabu. I was looking in the Discord and I kept seeing where folks were that was it F18A, that VGA board, or you know, that looked pretty cool. I was looking around. Well, I guess there's a couple options. One wasn't available, and I saw where the one guy had a waiting list. I filled out that waiting list, but one of the blanks was like, how much would you be willing to pay? And maybe I didn't put a high enough number, but maybe I'll go back and see if I can see what the magic number is for that guy, because that sounds pretty cool. K-Pro. You know, it's so weird. I had a K-Pro I got one time at a ham fest back when I was probably like 20 years old. And I didn't really, I mean, I knew some Commodore stuff, but I didn't really know I wish I knew what I knew now. I would have kept it, but I did not keep it. And there's an old, it's kind of like somebody gave me an old, one of the big TRS-80s, you know, like a model, I'm not sure which one it was, but like a model, the big ones, you know, that have not the 8-inch drive, but the monochrome deals. And I didn't know what it was or how to mess with it. Hindsight's 20/20, but not that I have room. I wouldn't have room to keep all this junk anyway, probably, but But yeah, K-Pro was one of the ones like that I bought for hardly nothing back in probably 1997. I wish I had it back now, because since then, you know, I've learned the whole story about CPM, and, you know, that Gary Kildall and the history there, which has always been super interesting to me since I've learned about it. And I'd love to have a K-Pro again. I mean, I like the idea of it. I probably couldn't have it. I probably don't have anywhere to put it, though. If I drag one of those through the door, my wife would probably not be happy. And the little Osbornes, those were always kind of neat too, but that monitor is a little bit tiny for my liking. But I mean, for what it was, those are cool too. I think all those CPM machines kind of from that era were neat. And I may be on a lag here. I see you say Model 3. Yep. Even though I put this on the closer to real time with the lower quality, it still seems to be a little bit more lag than I would have thought sometimes. All right, that's that one, I believe. Okay. Wow, that's pretty good. Wow, K-Pro printer, nice. Very cool. Full setup. Let's see. I think Retro Combs is going to have a live stream here at 2 Eastern with some playing with some VIC-20 games, so I'm looking forward to checking out that. Figured I'd goof around a little bit before that, and I keep looking at this thing and I never do anything with it in the last week or two. I'm like, I'm going to do something, even if it's just a few things. Maybe I won't finish, but I will make some progress. I'll pop that up there in case somebody can. That's a. Oh, I don't have it sized big enough to get the whole chat in there. I'll make a note of that. I can probably go over here right now and do that. Oops. Oh, that's just going to make it bigger. All right. Let's get this last resistor array in here. Am I chit-chatting like this for recording the stuff? Maybe I should have recorded the stream, because I could have, I might, with all my pausing, I might end up eating up my SD card here. Come on. There's somebody walking upstairs. That looks a little... Yeah, let me reflow that one. Okay, I think that's got the resistors in. Let's see how bad they are. That's probably okay. I bend this one a little bit. That's good enough for me. That's fine. All right, let's see what they said to do next. Check the documentation here. No, this isn't my first live stream. I don't see. I'm like, you know, I aspire to be getting as good as Mr. Retro Combs around the corner. I do a few. I just I usually don't schedule them or do anything big with them. I just throw them up there, and sometimes they live and sometimes they die, or I'll just leave them kind of in the live tab. I just kind of do it to goof around sometimes, but I actually tried to make a thumbnail for this live stream and have a little bit of a purpose. Sometimes I'm just kind of messing around, but yeah, this is probably the first one where I've a little, but short of scheduling, I didn't. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I didn't have a schedule for it per se. I know some people. It's nice to know if somebody you want to watch is doing something to schedule it. So, but it's not like it'll be here. Just don't have the if it comes later, the interaction or whatever. So let's see. I have got, like if I had Perfect World, I need a couple more displays on this machine that I'm using for streaming, and then I'd probably add a source so I could flip up and show you the manual at the same time. But I could probably do that, but it would take me more time to do that right now on this stream than to just goof around here and look at this real quick. All right. Okay, Crystal. Where's Crystal? Oh, Crystal goes there. I should have popped that in before I flipped it over. Crystal. And crystal orientation does not matter. Where did I put the crystal? I know I had it somewhere. This is what's going to happen. I got such a mess. Crystal, where are you? I saw that crystal somewhere. I know I did. Where are you, Crystal? There's the crystal. So this is a 16 megahertz crystal, and I'm assuming this is what goes as the clock source for the app Mega that we'll be putting in there. Even though it says orientation doesn't matter, I'm going to put the writing where it kind of falls in line with what these are, how these are. I'm just going to bend the leg a little bit on this one, and if that's a faux pas, to kind of hold that in, we'll flip it back over here. I could probably stick these sockets in too, but I'll just go slow. No rush, no rush. Yeah, I think I like that too. It's fun to kind of look over and see what folks are saying and stuff. I think Mr. My buddy there, Retro Combs, I think does a good job with that. Because again, I'm kind of tinkering around here. I'm not trying to be a YouTuber really. I don't mean, you know what I mean, like make it my job or anything. But if the people that kind of like watching you, your audience or whatever, if you're not going to interact with them, what's the point of the live stream? You could just do it and just post it, right? And I think, he gets it's a good way to get input for stuff, and people can throw their 2 cents in, like, the other day, or one of his live streams he was asking about what games maybe to try or something, and everybody was throwing out things. It's fun too, and people, I think, you can kind of trigger some conversation, and then the people that are in the chat get to interact with each other, and usually there's some learning that happens there too, which is always kind of fun. Get these couple off here. As long as everybody's nice, sometimes you get folks that, well, you know how it goes, and the robot's there, but I'm probably not getting enough attention to get any robots yet, so we'll just see what happens. All right. See when all the porn bots invade with their URLs and start spamming us. Yeah, I remember that. Yep. I was when you helped him with his fan. I remember that. I think I'd seen your video, because when I was goofing around looking for Nabu stuff, I think that's one of the first, maybe the first one of yours that I noticed was where you had to do that on yours. Luckily on mine, thank goodness, knock on wood, the fan was okay out of the box. So that was nice on my Nabu. All right, I think I got sockets next. Let me check. Okay, yeah, I think he's talking about all these dip sockets. Yep. And maybe some headers, but I think the headers go on the back. All right, I'll leave these sockets. I think the sockets are pretty straightforward, you don't necessarily have to technically, but matching up the little groove, the dip or whatever, the orientation thing with the PCB. Silk screen. Oh yeah, man, I will for sure. And I'm gonna I didn't get a chance to send it out yet, but I'm gonna send out probably like maybe 10 stickers or something to Sean. And if anybody he interacts with, he wants one, he can just share them that way. But yeah, I'll do that. Appreciate it. But you know what? I'm throwing these things in here without paying attention to what I just said about the groove. You know, the little dip there. All right, let me fix that. That's what I get for yapping and not looking before I yap. All right. Okay. So I think that's all. Yeah, that's all the sockets. And I'm going to look at all these ICs the same. Obviously the Atmega is not. I think two of these are the same, and one of them isn't. All right, let's recycle our tape. Ah, cool, man. What kind of truck you got? I've got an old truck that probably, I'm sure my neighbors do not like it very much, but it's my dad bought an old, and I was never a Ford guy. I always liked GM stuff, like cars and stuff. I had an old Monte Carlo growing up when I was a teenager, but it's a 93 F-150 of my dad bought it new, and then after he drove it for a while, he gave it to my grandpa. And then when my grandpa passed away, I think my aunt had it, but I said, hey, how much for the truck? But luckily they gave it to me, so it's got the old Ford, it's not a powerhouse, but it refuses to die. The inline 6 Ford 300, or I guess 4.9 if you go by liters, and that thing has 352,000 miles on it. A manual transmission, so it's still going strong. Pretty cool. And I drove it all the way from South Carolina up to Louisville, Kentucky, and then from Louisville up here to Indiana. Ah, Canyon, those are nice. Is that the one with the 5-cylinder? I know. Is that same? I get that. I'm not up on my GM stuff. Okay, 6, cool. This is probably gonna fall out. Oh, and the crystal frequency is, you asked it, I think it's 16 megahertz. Just like I think it's, you know, like you would see on a, gosh, these things are usually coming out of my ears here. Let's see. Like on a, you know, like on a standalone Arduino, like this guy right here. You see that? Well, this is actually the old Arduino with the serial. That was fun. Another fun thing about these old ones is that the thing is wrong. The silk screen for the numbering is out of order compared to new ones, if you look, and that caused me a big headache on a project. If you go back and look at the project for my Geiger counter, that I was like, hey, I'm going to use these old ones, and it caused me a headache. But yeah, 16 megahertz, just like you know, so that, just like on the old regular Arduinos there. Yeah, you know, it's crazy talking about truck sizes. Like a full-size trucks now, they're just gigantic. I mean, it's kind of weird. Some of those things are so big, it's, you know, you think you need well, I don't know what they call it, you know, down here in the US, a CDL. It's, I don't see how you can't see over the hood of some of these things. It's kind of crazy. I mean, to each his own, I guess, but they seem a little bit excessively large now. I mean, that F-150 from 93 that I've got, that would be probably considered a mid-size truck now, but that was a full-size pickup back in 93. Oh, there's my kid trying to be funny. Ha ha, kid. You know, I'm going to cover up my pins if I do it this way. I may have to hold these in here. You know what? I may have to do these on the, like this. These sockets, which is fine. Let me make sure I got that in the right place. All right. You say, hey, Rudy said hey to you.
Hey.
Get these corners. I'll come back and get the rest.
Dog.
All right. All right, I think that's got the corner, so those should not move. Almost wanted up higher again. Getting old. All right. Need to find my bench for in here. My chair, I mean. All right, I'm going to try to go and get the rest of these sockets in here. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to. I mean, a lot of people don't. If it's got the flip switches on the front, that some people don't like that, and some people do. It's a little bit too much for some folks to. They're not really interested in, but I just think it's cool. I mean, you can't. It doesn't get any lower level hardware than that. So if you kind of, I think it's good for concepts and things, even that I can use a refresher on sometimes. If you have a little bit of understanding how that stuff works, I think it helps with a greater understanding of the other pieces, you know, and at least this is understandable. These new CPUs and stuff are so complicated. There's no way that a person can really, truly understand it. There's a lot of abstraction there. I mean, I'm not the first person to say that, obviously. Like the Commodore 64, those people that became gurus on that, I mean, they really knew that system in and out, or any of these older systems. People really, if they wanted to, and they could get in and I understand them from end to end fully and do some cool stuff. Can't really do that now. I don't think you can. I mean, maybe you can, but these CPUs are so crazy now. The new stuff, which is amazing. I'm glad we've got it, but it is too much to try to wrap my head around anyway. Not that I can even wrap my head around some of these things, but I've got a little bit better chance of understanding some of this. Ms. Love, what's up, man? How you doing? Long time no see, bud. Just in here goofing around a little bit, killing some time before we go hang out with Retro Combs in a little bit. Using that little small form factor Lenovo we had chatted about to do the streaming here. It's not the fancier one that you mentioned that time, but it's a notch below that. But it seems to be sufficient for this purpose at this resolution. I don't think it would do 4K 60 or anything, but I don't need 4K 60. Yeah, Steven, I think he's doing some VIC-20 games at 2 o'clock Eastern time. I should just start using UTC since all the friends and stuff are all over the world. We could just probably standardize, I guess. Yep. I think he was talking about it, then he made it official maybe in the last couple of days. I wasn't sure. I think he was kind of on the fence about it. And check out, if you're on the Discord, go look at, he's got an AI bot now that's enabled in the RetroCombs Discord. That's pretty fun. He was asking it if he should stream today and what, you know, he should title his stream. It was responding. I asked it, I said, hey, are you part of Skynet? And of course, the people probably coding that thing up knew that was going to be a question, so it had a funny answer to that. It even had a Terminator reference, so that's kind of funny. For the nerd humor. Nerd sci-fi humor, whatever you want to call it. Get a little piece of solder here. Sometimes I'll lose track, but I've been trying to pop in there and look. And I was kind of watching the Naboo Discord like a hawk. But man, there's a lot that happens in there to stay caught up with. But it's good stuff. It's all good stuff. There's some really smart people in there doing some cool stuff. I want to try out that, is it Thorpe? The BSD guy, that the kind of like the daemon that he's got for sending. I want to play with that. I haven't had a chance yet though, because that seems like a neat little server way to serve the content over to the Naboo. Oh, all right, man. Well, if I don't see you before we stop, it was good to see you, Rudy. Alrighty, is this socket? That's a socket, okay. So what's been going on with you, Ms. Love? Work and all going okay? Or what, you been tinkering with anything lately? And did you hear, I think Steven got enough money, or, you know, I'm not sure if he's got it in action yet. Maybe he does. The fundage was met, so he got the, or was going to get the new top-down camera. So that's pretty cool. We'll see how that looks. That Sony that he's got looks really nice. I'm guessing he's just getting another one of those. 3 business trips. Wow. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I like my old, this old Canon. I want to make sure I don't want to drop a ton of cash. I've got a bunch of old SLRs I bought, but you got to get above a certain threshold for the SLR to do a decent, steady focus. And so like the one I've got on my face cam here, it's actually, I've just got it fixed focus, and it's a pretty good res. I'll just show you my ugly mug here for a second. So the top-down camera is actually a camcorder, but this is a Canon T5, which is pretty good quality. But it does not do autofocus, like steady autofocus. But with this lens, I can kind of put it in a sweet spot, and it's not so bad. And if I didn't need to zoom and stuff, sometimes I would almost use one of these cameras for the top-down, but the camcorder does a pretty good job for that. Probably slide this thing. I'm sitting here scorching my holder, my Panabase. All right, let's see these guys. Bet I'm about to eat up all my SD card too. Of course, if the SD card's getting close to filling up, maybe that's a good time to stop the stream. Or I'll switch to recording on this guy, and I'll just grab the footage from there. Some of these do not want to go. I do not, but I should. I've got I've got a fan, and you know, I used to wear, I need to wear gloves because I've got a bad habit of sticking my fingers in my mouth, which is a whole other topic. But yeah, I've got a little I've got a fan over here, and it's got like a little charcoal filter, and if you've seen the Hako little fan, it's basically I think I've got the ingredients to make a DIY one of those, and I need to do that. So I'm not sitting here breathing it all in. But that is an excellent question, and it's something that you should do. You should not breathe this stuff in, and you should always make sure you wash your hands after you get through doing this stuff. We used to do solder workshops at the old Hackerspace, level 1 in Louisville. And we try to always stress that to folks, or wear gloves, and to try not to breathe this stuff in if you didn't have to. Or have some good, at least not being too tight of a confined space. Have some decent ventilation. It's a very, very good question. It's kind of like the old folks will tell you, do as I say, not as I do, right? I should be setting a better example. Like the old timers that use the saws without the guards on them and stuff. Or you see the people using those angle grinders and those death wheels, those things, if they come apart, they will make a mess of you. But people use them without the guards all the time. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies. All right, I think that's got our sockets in there. You know, people get comfortable with a tool, and it might be somebody who's really good with the tool, and they use it all the time, but all it takes is one little accident, and then you may have done permanent damage, and you can't undo some of that, which is sad. Let's see here. Let me check. Let me look at my document to see what it wants me to do next here. Okay, we've got the sockets in. Oh, there's some headers. I think I've got them hiding here up under the keyboard. That might not be the right ones. Those are straight. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The one that you get, yeah, complacency. That's the magic word, right? I guess, or whatever that word, the equivalent is. Complacency is what leads to accidents. You think you're not going to have a problem, and you let your guard down, and then boom, then you get caught. And the results are sometimes not great. Okay, these are straight headers. Yeah, okay, these are straight headers. These need to go J1 and J2 on the back side of the board. Let's see, J1, J2 on the back side. The back side is this side. Where does the other one go? J1, where's J2? Wait. Okay, J1 and J2. Are these the same then? The long one. Okay, the long one is J2, and the short one is J1. Okay. So we'll stick this one here. Let's see, J2 for that one. This is probably a bad idea. And if I try to hold that with my finger, that heat's going to come right through that pin and get me. Let's see if I can tape this down, kinda, but I need it to be straight. Pretty straight, yeah. I'm trying to think if I've got a piece of socket that I can hold that with. Or I could almost just lean this over a little bit, but not all the way. Let's see if I can do that to get it started. Let's try that. Somebody's upstairs doing a tap dance. Yeah, you know, Putty, right. I think a lot of folks use blue tack, and I should get some of that. I see people use it all the time. That would be perfect, but I don't have any. That would be perfect for this. 100%. So let's see, I'm going to go tilt this probably too much when I do that. Or if I don't hold the pin that I'm trying to solder, maybe. Let's see. This is probably going to be a bad idea. I'm going to put a little extra blob of solder on the thing. I'm going to try not to touch the pin that I'm that I'm trying to solder first. We'll see if that goes. I'm probably going to hear me squeal in a minute when I do the wrong thing. No, I'm trying to do this another way. Yeah, I grabbed the one that I got hot. Let's do this way. I lost that one. Let's get this out of here for right now. I'll get it tacked and then I'll straighten it up and let it go, and then I should be able to do the other ones. You wait for the scream. That's probably about right. We'll get this one on here a little bit. So that's on there a little bit. And then, you know what, I'll do the other one too. And then if we get one in there, we can touch the ones that aren't hot. Oops. That one's going to be hard to hold in place. Let me get a piece right here. Let's take this piece of aluminum right here for just a second. And tack this one in place. All right, so now I should be able to straighten those up if they're wonky, and they are a little wonky. See, that's a little wonky there. So I'm not going to touch the one I'm going to heat, but I'm going to apply a little heat and then straighten it up. If I can do that. Let me use this for its purpose here. Yeah, you probably will hear the scream. Maybe not. Let's see. Let me get this where I can see it. And where you can see it. All right, so see that how that's kind of crooked there? So the top pin's the one I've got solder in. I'm going to try to touch the bottom pin while I heat this one. Again, if I had putty, I wouldn't have to do all this junk, but I don't. So I'm going to heat this up a little bit, and we're going to straighten that up. I'll let it go. Hey, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty straight. This, I think, is a plug-in for something, so it's got, I think there's a little bit of, it's important that it is straight there. And this one's facing a different direction, but I'll check it out. It's not as bad. Let's see here. Make sure I don't touch that one or I will holler. Okay. I think that's flat, but not to the end there. All right, that's better. Okay, now I should be able to just tack some solder down to the rest of the pins, and it shouldn't make it loosen up, because I'm not going to touch that first one. Let's see, am I down here? Yeah, checking the camera view, and checking my SD card. All right. Ooh. That's that one. I think I need to clean this tip. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I don't want to do that one again, do I? Oh yeah, I do. That's the one, that's not the end one. Getting old, can't see. All right, so that's that one. Now you'll see there's a little mess on here. I'm going to brush this off with a toothbrush and some alcohol when I'm done, so don't be too upset about the mess there. I will clean this up. All right, there's that one. There's that one. And come on. Don't want to sit there and leave that on there too long. Let's cook it. All right, so that's the sockets and the pins. Let's see what the instructions say to do next. Hey, let's see. I got the little trick here like Steven does. Let's see if it works. Yay, it does. That's cool. Pop it up. Yeah, cool. And then clear. That works like a champ. Right on. Okay, I'm going to check the manual here. Next time I'll have it where I can switch to that source and you can see what I'm seeing, but I don't have that right now. Okay, I think the switch, the front switch is here, or what we're going to do next. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't really say. I think these switches are just got an up and a down. So we got, what is this, 12 of these? No, how many of these? 15 switches, yeah, 15 switches. And I wonder if these are the nice kinds. Maybe the way the legs are on these, they'll kind of click into place, so I don't have to hold them when I solder. But we will see what we've got here. All right. Yeah, these might pop in place. That's nice. All right, let's just pop these in then. Boop. Nice. It'll be easy to solder those then, I hope. Whoa, what is this? Oh, there are two of them stuck together. I was like, what kind of switch is that? Another one stuck together. Oh, this one's got a little bent leg there. Whoops. Pull that back out a little bit. There we go. It's a bunch of switches. Three minutes on my SD card. I might have to hit record because I kind of don't want to stop. Got some momentum going here. All right. Okie doke. So that's got those switches in there. And I might need to flip over here and start recording over here in OBS. Let me look over here real quick. Hopefully this doesn't screw up the stream. All right, I'm going to start recording here. And then I'm going to stop on my SD card because there's not going to be any room for that. So let me bump this. So if you're watching a prepared video later, whenever I do that, you might see a difference in the quality from where I switched to my native camera going straight to the card versus using this capture that I've got going with OBS. But whatever, it's fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna pop this out of here and we'll flip it over. Just want to hope that these guys don't loosen up. I don't think they are. They look pretty good, actually. I'll slide it back through here. Oh, no, I didn't mean to touch that one. Darn. Okay. Let's go about halfway again. All right, let's get this centered up a little bit. So now we're just going to go through and boom, 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 hit all these solder joints, which is going to be a minute. And I might run and get something to drink since I've been yapping my trap so much. I'm getting a little, you know. And if you're just looking now, we're putting some switches in. This has 15 switches. Yeah, I've done it a few times. Could always be better though. I've got a little bit different tips I want to play with for this iron. I don't know if this is the best tip to always use, but I guess this tip is a pretty good jack of all trades, but it might not be the best for everything. Sometimes I wish I had like a fine point for certain situations, but this is fine for this. Much better than I used to be. I would really mess some stuff up back a while back, but there's a lot of people that are really, really good too. I want to play and do more surface mount stuff, and I want to get one of those nice desoldering irons too. Those things are a time saver when doing some rework. I've got a solder sucker, but it'd be nice if you're doing a bunch of stuff to remove, just to be able to boom, 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 knock it right out with a nice electric solder sucker. Oops, I'm getting all over the place here. Some heat in that pad. I'm getting shaky. I think let's see here. Let's look at the board. I believe once I get these switches done, these LEDs will be it. I mean, for the soldering, I think that'll be most of it done, actually. That's pretty cool. There's a switch here, I think. So that's pretty good. Making pretty good progress. Might be able to finish this before Steven's stream there. That's my goal. But I'll see how far I can get. Because then I'll flip over and I'll be watching that with everyone else. Oh yeah, jack of all, yeah, let me pop you up there. That might not, yeah, so I gotta fix this, but yeah, you were asking about jack of all trades. Yeah, exactly, jack of all, I think it's like, or I think one of the ways I've heard it is jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. So kind of like some of the stuff I do, I guess. I'm not a master of anything. I can do a little bit of everything, but I'm not expert at any of it. So kind of like a generalist, I guess, you know. But yeah, and kind of like the tip. This tip can do most things, but there are probably more specific tips that do a better job at particular things, but this tip does an okay job at most everything. How about that? Make sure that I got it there. I'll go back on these, and if any of them look like they need to be reflowed, I'll hit them again. But I think I'm getting them okay so far. There's a bunch of pins. This is 4 times 15. So what is that, 60? 60 for these switches to solder. And that's stuck on the tip. Let's make sure it gets down there. A little bit more. Probably a sign I need to hit the tip off there. Oh yeah. No, you're all good, man. No problem. Well, I was just saying, I say that like my Facebook, I'm not a big Facebook user anymore, but my Facebook profile says Jack of all trades, master of none. The guy from Mythbusters used to say that a good bit. Adam Savage. And Adam, I dig Adam. He's a pretty cool dude. But so is Jamie. A fun fact, if you know about the show Mythbusters, the other guy, Jamie Heineman, he's actually from this town here where Steven and I live. That's kind of a neat little fun fact. The other guy on the Mythbusters with the big woolly goatee beard thing, he's from this same town. I mean, it's not that I'm not originally from here, but it's a fun fact about it. There's also another famous person that's from this town, but that may, bringing that person up may cause some discussions I do not want to get into. Another one is Tony Stewart. He's a NASCAR guy. He's from here. But that NASCAR starts the whole thing up too. Get the F1 guys, Formula 1 guys talking. They'll start fighting at each other. We don't want to have that. I like all motorsport. But F1, that F1 stuff is crazy. I miss the sound of the old cars from the 90s, though, I got to tell you. Or the V10s. I miss the way those sound. But, technology marches on. Just like the computers we mess with. We love the old ones, don't we? But you can't argue that the new stuff is not a big jump in advance. Even though when it first comes out, people will kind of cry and moan about it. Usually, not always, but usually stuff is a good step forward. The F1 cars, the amount of power that they get from the displacement is insane. Oh, you did? Yeah. Whoops, I'm hitting right click here. Yeah, Jeff Gordon was, he was something else. I'm not some of those long circle tracks that NASCAR, not necessarily my favorite, but now when they go to, what was that track in New York? Watkins Glen, which is a road course. It's pretty neat to see how those cars do and how they have to change their setups for a road course for those cars. I'm thinking, what's the other one? There's Watkins Glen. And what's that other NASCAR? There's another road course. I don't think they run it. I don't think there's any official. They don't run it like Laguna Seca or anything, I don't believe. Yeah, that's. I'm looking back at your other comment there. I went and well, it's not working right, but I've heard that too. I don't necessarily think that they. I don't think they dislike each other, but they are not best buds or anything. I guess I'll put it that way, or that's how he puts it too, I think. they're not getting dinner and sharing holidays with each other. They were pretty much co-workers. I don't think there's any bad blood, but they are definitely not buddies, which seems odd, but maybe that's how that goes. Regardless, they had a successful thing going there for a while. I sure love that show. That was a great show. I miss it. But, you know, sometimes when things go too long, the quality starts to drop. I'm not saying that happened to them, but sometimes it's good to know when to quit. Oh yeah, IndyCar. I want to, one of these days, because we're not far from Indianapolis here. It would be cool to go see that Brickyard one of these days. Okay. The LED thing has, I think the LEDs are next, and it has a warning. There's an addendum. Let me go back and find that addendum real quick. It has some kind of thing. I think it's about using these. There's a spacer or something to use, because the LEDs are bad about not being straight, and it makes the front little thin piece of metal, makes it bunch up or something like that. Let's see. And that looks pretty decent, huh? The little switches there. Uh-oh. You know what? I'm looking at these, and a couple are a little bit funky. Let me see about that. Actually, Portland seems nice. I've never been to Portland. All right, let me see here. I think I gotta hit this one down on both sides here. I don't know if I can get that. It's probably not showing what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to hold this down while I press it down to get this to straighten up a little bit. Oops, sit there and cook my resistor. Let's see. There. Is that was still a little bit. That was a little bit up too. Let's see if I can push this one down a little bit. Is that better? Yeah, okay, that's a little better. Let's see about that. All right, there's this addendum now. I need to open up a new window here real quick and look and see. There's a whole thing about the LEDs being super sensitive here to alignment. KENBAK-1. Let's see. Gotta find it here. Okay. Oh. An addendum here. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Sorry for rambling. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Al Unser Jr. Let's see. Okay, here's the addendum. It's talking about LED straight. He's saying, all right, put the LEDs in place. Okay, all right, here we go. they say put the LEDs in, and you know, the solder mask here is, I'm sorry, the silk screen, oops, is showing us which way to put these, but his documentation also tells you to put the long leads go to the right. Let's see, that's interesting. His thing here shows them going in before his other thing here. So we'll get these LEDs out. And I believe the clear LEDs are going first. Long leads face to the right. All right. So negative to the left because the long lead's positive. All right. Yeah. There we go. Get that in the groove there. Okay. Long to the right. Long one. There, see there? Just to show you, see the little bit longer tip there. The longer is going to the right. Now I'll keep saying that out loud and watch. I'm going to screw one of these up. Longer to the right. Longer to the right. Now these are the different color ones here. Alright. Longer to the right. Longer to the right. Yeah, that was a good, I liked his newer video. And you know what I loved the best about his video? It wasn't even a technical thing. The way he was, the little skits he did for the, poking at the commenter, that some of those people didn't even watch the whole episode. People will just start saying stuff without even watching everything. But yeah, that was really nice. He's got those last couple of videos with those reworked C64s are awesome. And I think it looks cool, and I wouldn't buy one, but I bet it's so cool that, what is it? The one guy that's got the SID, or is it a stereo SID? And it's got the little Korg, it's got a Korg like tube kind of thing in there that glows. That looks so neat. I would almost have to have a window to show that off if I put that in something. It's really cool. All right, so that was cool. All right, so this guy is including a spacer thing to hold these straight or something, I believe. Let's put this on here. How does this go? I think it goes like this. So he included this. It's like a little spacer to keep things aligned or something. Oh, you know what? That's not going to work with my holder. Doggone it. Let me get it out of here. Shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. All right, let's get this out of the way. Lay this flat. It's going to make those LEDs want to pop out though. Let's put this over here. I'm probably not doing a good job of showing me putting the spacer on, sorry. So there's his spacer. Let's see, what does he say to do next with this setup? I hate to, I'm going to set this right here. I don't want those LEDs to pump out. All right. Oh, okay. These are, oh, wait, see, I'm confused. He has the spacer. Do you put the spacer on? Okay, he is having us kind of assemble it already. And to put the faceplate on the front temporarily with the spacer. And then put these little hex legs on here. And then we can flip it over on its belly or its face and solder them in. So we will try to do as he instructs here. Let me check my time. I don't want to run into... Yeah, okay, we're okay. This is a long stream. I guess it's fine, though. People can flip through it. I might put some tags in it later. Or some chapter markers. Alright, so these are some hex bolts. Does he use the washers? We got washers, too. Okay, put the front... Put the spacer, put the front panel on. Okay. We will see if this is what he wants. So we're going to take this out of the wrapper here. Like saran wrap or something on there. Cling wrap. It's kind of thin. I hope I don't want to scratch it. Or bend it. It's kind of nice there. But it's also thin and likely to bend, I believe. So let's fit this over that. Maybe that's what holds those in. And then if you solder it with it like that, that'll keep it from wanting to bend later. Maybe that's what he's wanting us to do. YouTube, yeah. So I've got, I think did he say 1 or 2? I think he said 2, didn't he? Let me check, because I definitely don't want to, because it's 12:54 local time. And I think let me check, does he put anything on Twitter? Let's see what he's got here. I want to make sure I don't miss his thing. Let's see here. It says 2 p.m. Yeah, I got to give that a like, and I got to give it a retweet. Just now saw that. So that's 2. So according to, yeah, I think I've got about another hour. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm not thinking. Sorry, Ms. Live. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, my stream. I think my clock down here says I've been live for 1 hour and 22 minutes. Oh, that's weird. You got a notification after a half hour. That's so weird. But that's the way YouTube goes, I guess, right? Silly things. That's why I guess it's good. If I want to get serious about the live streams, I need to do like Steven does and send out do the plan thing and send out some notifications. So it's planned in advance. But a lot of times I don't plan in advance. I didn't plan this in advance. I just said, hey, I'm going to goof around a little bit before Steven's stream. So it was just kind of shooting from the hip. So we've got some of these little screws here. I'm going to take 6 of these out. So I'll put them right here so I don't lose them. Some washers in there too. Let's see which ones of these are the ones that fit this. Well, I'm glad you did join. I'm glad Rudy joined. That was nice to see Rudy. Okay, I think these are the ones that we used for this. So I'm going to get me those guys ready to go. That's a different, there's some little other size ones in here. Get this one. Some little nuts in there too or something. That one's kind of short. Yeah, making a mess. Sorry. Well, these are kind of a little shorter. Which ones do I use? Maybe it's the shorter ones I use. Whichever one that I have 6 of. How about that? That'll tell me which ones to use. Because these were all in the same bag. So that's 4. Yeah, it must be these shorter ones. Same thread size, but that's fine. Okay. So now I'm gonna, I guess this is what he wants me to do. I'm gonna put that right there. And start this right there like that. And then right here. Then this one. Flip this over. This one. Maybe I could have done it without doing this, but if someone hands me instructions and it's something like this, I will try to just follow their instructions and not take any shortcuts. I don't want to mess up my kit here or cause extra headache later. Exactly. I did. I've got it over here. You see in the description the link to the kit. The guy has a nice PDF for the directions for this, but in the page that has the link to the directions, he's got an addendum. It'd be nice if he just stuck it into the, I mean, you know, it's easier said than done. Just edit his PDF and update the PDF with these extras in it, just so they have one document to look at. But I'm not going to fault him for that. At least the information's not hidden, so, you know, what more do you want to have? See, if you look, see how that's kind of bundled, see how that is kind of, has a kind of a bundled up, it's bunched up a little bit. And that's what we're trying to prevent here, I think. It's got a little scratch on it. So I'm trying to see why that's doing that, because I don't want it to be puffed up. Some of that might be the switch stuff. It's not terrible. But these aren't tight, so it's not the, unless it's the switches making it do that. I don't know, that's not terrible. There's a little bit of a rise there. That might just be the nature of the screws being where they are. It's not bad. I think I'm okay with that. So, but it's not going to hold the, it's not going to hold these LEDs in. What's he saying? Let me look again. I think the LEDs are going to try to fall out. Maybe not. Let's see what happens. This is probably going to be a disaster. Watch this. Well, you know what? This is not perfectly flat either. This little surface has these dips right here. Let me get something that's a little more solid maybe for this particular thing. This is probably not going to be great. Let's see if I can do that. It just seems like it's not going to be great. Look at his directions one more time. Yeah, always read the friendly manual for sure. Okay, it's, you know, even in his picture it shows them bunched up a little bit. Now you can rest the LEDs on the work surface and keep them in place. All right, we'll see. I just got a feeling that I'm going to have to adjust these, which it's not the end of the world to adjust them. Let me get a little more of this stuff that's easier to hold, longer string of it. All right. Let's do some LEDs. Here we go. Okay, get ready here. All right. You know what? I'm going to look here real quick and make sure all the long ones are the same way. I'm going to look beside here. Yep, they are. Just a little quick check. Okay. To make sure I did not flip one around before I use the magic solder here. Ooh, that was not good. Let me get that in the middle. All right. Hope my big noggin is not blocking the camera. And I almost would have done these before I put these sockets in. Before I put the stuff on the outside, that would be hotter, you know? If I was doing, I don't know. I'm doing it the way he says, I guess. To me, this is putting heat close to this and this. And I could have done these first. And I don't know. Whatever. It's neither here nor there. We will get it going, I think. If I don't catch this thing on fire. Come on, buddy. There we go. It's kind of tight. Well, yeah, away the face. Exactly. All right, I'm gonna move this keyboard. I'm gonna have to get kind of down here on my elbows a little bit to do this, I think. On my forearms, probably blocking a bunch of light. Let me tilt this one a little bit this way. What's funny, this will be like 5 seconds on the video, on the final video, all this time. Because nobody really wants to sit there and watch this. Some people do, but not a lot of people. They just want to see the end result. And that's fine. It's probably not the best angle for the people to see what I'm doing, but oh well. You know what I'm saying. You know the type of people that just want to see wham bam thank you ma'am project stuff. Nobody, not many, only the best hardcore geeks want to see this. How about that? That's better, right? The proper nerds, the good nerds. I mean nerds in a good way. I consider myself one of those. Let's see here. Get the heat in the right place and not melt my socket. Yeah, that ventilation you were talking about earlier would have come in handy just then. Ugh. This is going all over the place, sorry. That's too much heat. Try again. Oof, what was that? Get that off of there. Geek and nerd I am. And there you go. Right on, man. There you go. Proud of it. I'm the same way. My typing is not great. So where all have you had to go for work? If you can say. If you can't, I understand. That's fine. Anywhere interesting? And there's a little flake of stuff coming off right there. Serbia, Slovenia, Austria. Nice. Cool. One more left. Hopefully they are not too weird looking. It's all in the neighborhood yet. For like, so those trips, if they're, do you fly or train? Is that pretty easy train travel then for that? Or what do you do usually? Car? Okay. And is that like, so you don't, is it pretty easy when you cross the borders and all? No trouble. You just kind of go on through, or is that considered? Well, let's see. I forget what's EU versus not EU. Are you able to? Is it much trouble to cross the borders? It's not so bad, is it? That might not be perfect, but that's good enough for government work, right? As they say. Good enough for government work. Let's see here. Once I've got them in there, I can remove the front panel and spacer. Okay, look at this again. It's pretty okay, I think. I don't think that's bumping there too bad. All right, I'm going to take this off now. Whoa! I tried to jump off the table. Whoops. I've only got a few threads in here for that, so should have been ready. No borders. Okay, Serbia. Gotcha. So is the Serbia is that the slower one to cross into then? But since it's not, or how does that? But you have a border. Never mind. Okay. So it's not too bad anyway then, I guess, huh? Bilateral agreement with Serbia. Okay, I gotcha. So that's kind of like if we go. Well, I was gonna say, we used to be able to go to Canada, with just like a normal ID. But after all the what happened, we can't go to Canada anymore. We've got to have a passport. Because I was up close to Canada one time when we were in Detroit, and I was like right there. You could see right across the water to Windsor, Ontario. And I was like, hey, we could go to Canada. But I was like, oh, I forgot. You got to have your passport. And I've got one, but I didn't have it with me, so didn't go that time. I got to go to Canada later, but not on that trip. Okay, now I'm going to switch back to the manual and see what he says to do next. Okay, all right. LEDs are in there. Okay, now it's telling me to put the ICs in. Okay, I know that we'll go ahead and do that. I know that the big one here is the app mega, so we'll stick that in there. You know what? I think I'm going to clip the legs off my LEDs first. Let me do that. Same thing here. Good to wear eye protection. These things will pop off and launch into your eye sometimes. Or at least use your safety squints. Safety squints engaged. Yeah, I think I would have done these before I did the sockets. This makes it tight to work in here. Interesting choice. But I can't write a manual, so I'm not going to give them too much grief. I sure didn't produce a kit, so props to producing a kit. See, like there, I can't even hardly get in there. Ooh, there's one of those flying ones. That's why you wear eye protection. There's another one. Man, this is tight. I'm gonna rip the trace off the daggum thing. All right, I think that's all right. And this one's a little easier, as is that one. Ooh, went flying. Went flying again. I'll just throw this out again in case somebody's watching later. This is a µKENBAK-1 or Pico µKENBAK-1 kit from Chris Davis, aka Add Water and Stir. If you want to learn more about the kenbak, I've got a link in the description of this live stream. And if you want to see about the kit itself, there's a link in the live stream. Link in the description here of the live stream. And this will be some footage that I will be using to actually make a prepared video about it. So it won't be as boring as this, if this bores you. But Mislav is the super trooper. We know it does not bore him, and we thank him for that. All right, so okay, got those cut off, and you know, got the silk screen has a little notch, so we put the chip that way. I mean, we put the socket that way. And of course, the chip has a little dip there, notch. So I'm gonna use the edge of my table a little bit to kind of squeeze these together, but kind of do it uniformly, and see if we can get this in there. You know, I don't think I need that anymore, do I? Let's get that out of the way. All right, so let's put this in here with the notch the right way. So we can line that up. You know what? I might need to bend these a little more. Let's see. Maybe some more. Maybe that's too much. Let's see. There we go. Let's see, get that down in there. See there? Oh man, I see there. Look what I did. That's what you don't want to do. I goofed up the leg of that. Look at that last one. That's what happens when you get in a rush. All right, we're going to try to fix that. That sucks. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. It'll be fine. We'll fix it. All right. Man, we folded that sucker over. Holy crap. Micro, yes. I'm getting it. I'm getting my words wrong. Yes, thank you. I think you're right. Micro kenbak. Thank you, Mislav. All right, now here's the bad thing. Is this little piece of leg going to break off when I try to straighten it out? Ooh. Oh. I do not want it to. Let me see. Let me get my little something here handy. All right, I'm going to try to straighten this up a little bit. But, you know, it may just break in half. I don't want it to, but it's my fault I folded that sucker in half. Oh. All right. I think we got it. Let's try that again, and I'll really, I will really watch this back corner. Maybe it'll go in first. Oh man, that's what I get. That's what I get. You know what? It's trying to pull up out of there again. So is this one. Okay. think we're better this time. Now, if it acts weird, I may need to pull on that one to make sure it's touching the wiper the right way, that last pin. But it's in there now. Hey, Rudy, what's up? Welcome back, man. Let's see here. Rudy, since you've been gone, we've gotten some, we've gotten our switches in and our LEDs in. And, well, yeah, I think, yeah, we got, so now it's telling us to put our ICs in place. And I just did the first one that I knew I could do without looking, the µKENBAK chip. So I just popped that in. Now I'm going to, you know what? Look at this. Don't you love it? Ah, I love it when people actually put what they want on the silk screen. How about that? That's nice. I love it when people do that. Very nice. So now I don't even have to look at the manual for that. So let's see. The first one is the 595. Yes, I should get one of those chip straighteners probably, or I just usually use the old edge of the table straightener. But you see what happened there? I about broke the leg off of that one of those legs off of the µKENBAK there, Rudy, if you missed that one. But I think we were able to salvage that. Whew. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to get a pin and tack a leg onto this thing. I've screwed it up, but I think it's okay. If it's not, we'll fix it. It's not the end of the world. Let me get this one some more. All right, let's try this. This is a 74HC595 that we're putting in this socket. So I think some of these are, I get mixed up. I forget what's what without looking. Maybe like something with a mux or a whatchamacallit, like doing a matrix for the buttons and the LEDs, and then maybe buffers, or one of these is a buffer. And then we've got two 74LS165s. Yeah, that's nice, Rudy. The folks that make things very clear and have a nice silk screen, those people are awesome. Okay. Let's see if this will go. Heck, if I'm thinking right. Well, we got this a couple other pieces here. I was about to say we're almost ready to put some juice to it to see if it'll do anything at all. Almost, not quite. Yeah, about that chip about that leg straightener. Okay, let me make sure I don't go ham on it like I did on that µKENBAK one. See if I can get this one started down in there. I think we're getting going. Yeah, there we go. Got me kind of scared after that one that was almost messed up. And I tell you what, I mean, this is old news by now in 2023, but I'm amazed at the quality that you can get from some of those mail order places and how you can just drop your file off. Or I think it's cool too, the way they have it now, where like certain projects will just be in there and you can just order some boards from a project that's already kind of showing up in like a little, catalog. That's pretty super cool. And how quick you get them back, it's nuts. I think it was about, what was it, last year? I hadn't done it in a while, and I etched a board for just a for having like a switchless Jiffy DOS, and it was fun. But man, it's almost like, unless you just want to do it for fun, you can almost get the boards here in a day or so. But I thought it was kind of fun to show folks how to print off, just use like a laser printer and make a toner transfer that way. It's kind of neat to be able to do that if you ever want to. But, you're just single-sided. That's all I've ever done. I've never messed around with any of the vias, and I've never taken that next jump to doing that kind of stuff It's probably like anything else. Once you sit down and do it, you can figure it out. But I've never taken the time or had the need personally to design a multi-layer thing myself yet. But all these free tools out here and these folks that'll gladly make your boards for you are pretty cool. Let's see here. I think we got that one in there. All right. I think that's that. Boop. PCB Go, right? Nice. I know, was it everybody's always on their YouTube channels with the PCB Way and the JLC or JCL? Might be getting that confused with a language for a mainframe or something. I guess those are the ones paying for the big ads anyway, or paying for the most ads. And now I think they'll do 3D printing and CNC. They'll produce about anything you want. And I guess if you're doing some kind of production, you got the option, they'll actually populate your board for you. Maybe if you're making some kits to send out to folks for a product. Okay. There's the ICs. Okay. Install the real-time clock module and the USB UART. Leave clearance. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, the USB thing goes this way. Get that out of here. Looks like it mounts. That's weird. Does it not use all those pins? Oh, it doesn't, does it? Let's see. I'm using my phone here to look at the manual. You know, I was wondering if when all that stuff was going on and chip shortages and stuff during the peak of COVID, if more PCB type stuff would be firing up in North America, you know, Canada and US. I guess there probably are shops that do that, but I bet, you know, the way the scaling, it probably doesn't make sense for a hobbyist. But I wonder if any big outfits have used any US stuff that they weren't before that, but maybe they're back to using other places now. Since things have kind of settled out a little bit. Okay, so so it's set up with the picture here shows it sitting like this. The DTR and the 3 sits here, and it doesn't, wow, that's kind of a weird way to do this. There's no like spacer there to hold it up off the board. I guess I'll just do it like that. That seems kind of, I think my word of choice would be janky. I don't think janky is offensive. If it is, tell me and I will stop saying it. I don't believe that's offensive. That seems less than ideal. But the pins are kind of not perfectly spaced, so it's kind of holding it up. So this is a, you know, I almost wish that was a socket so I could take it off if I wanted to. Because if I ever had to take that chip out of there, if I had to take this out for some reason, you know what, I think if I have to reprogram it, I bet I could just leave it turned off and just clip onto the pins. I could just leave it in there. I guess I'll just leave it like that. This is the serial UART thing here. How are we looking on time? I don't want to, we still got 30 minutes, don't we? I don't want to miss Combs. All right. I'll do the first 2 outside ones to kind of hold it there. All right, I think that's okay. Kind of weird, but it'll work. Yeah, thingamabob. Now you're gonna have me singing the songs from The Little Mermaid. My 2 kids. That tells you when I hear the word thingamabob, that tells you how ingrained I've been programmed by the Little Mermaid Disney movie. As soon as I hear thingamabob, I'm thinking about that song from The Little Mermaid. I could sing it, but I don't want to embarrass anybody, myself, and then make you guys run away. But I'm singing it in my head right now because that's what I think when I hear thingamabob. Gadgets and gizmos aplenty. Okay, here I go. I'm stopping. Okay, never mind. Oh, man. Okay, now it's saying we're going to use our switch here, but it's got, wait a minute. Oh, I think I'm going to do my, okay, we're going to do this clock first, which I wish it had like a, this is the real-time clock. And, you know, on these retro videos, everybody's always talking about these batteries like this. I almost wish it was a, like a coin cell, right? So I could swap it out or remove it. But at least this one's kind of rigged up with the header, so it's easy to pull out. But it's not keyed. So let me see how this goes. Okay, the picture here shows it facing kind of the pins are toward the top, so, or the edge. So I think we'll put it in like that. Because now, after watching all the horror stories, especially with the Mac stuff, man, I'm paranoid about batteries. It's like you see these nice Mac SEs, and I don't know much about those Macs. I watch all these the people that fix them up and stuff, like Steve and Ron, and gosh, I'm forgetting some people probably off the top of my head. You know who you are. I'm not trying to leave anybody out, but it seems like they're like look great on the outside, and then the traces are just destroyed from where those batteries have blown up inside those Macs, and it just breaks your heart. Ugh. But again, you know, a lot of this stuff, nobody ever expected anybody to be even thinking about this junk. Well, not this as a kit, but like a Mac that people thought they were disposable. And, you know, they were treated that way for a long time. So for any of it to survive and still work is pretty awesome. Okay, so that's there, and that's the clock. Serial. Okay, it's asking about a switch, and I think it wants me to use this little piece of wire here. Let me see what it's saying. That must go there. Okay, and it just probably, is this just a 2 position? All right. Does it say off and on up here? Or on the silk? On the, yeah, off is down. Okay. So, flip this around the right way. Well, I'll put this in, so when it flips up, it's on. That's a little different than its picture shows, I think, unless you know what, I'm going to do what he says here. A wire from the center pin and the bottom pin is what it says, so we'll do that. And that goes over here to SW16. All right. I'll be fine for 30 years, yeah. I'll be like, what is this thing? I'll probably be gone. I hope not, but you know. In 30 years, I might not be worried about what this thing's doing or where it is. Maybe. Maybe some other little younger nerd will have it by then. I might not be worried about it. All right. There's that. Okay. Let's do a little, let me find some. This is not the correct tool. Just like I was saying before, do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to separate this a little bit with this guy. This is not the recommended way, so I would not recommend doing it this way. So let the record show that I said that, okay, guys? People. Half-hour notice. All right. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can get this switch wired up. I think we may be to the point of just seeing if it blinks and lights up. Let's do that real quick. I mean, if you got a jet, that's fine too, because I will be showing how I did this later. That's almost too long, but I'd rather just bundle the wire up at the back side here. Again, don't do it this. Do not do this. This is not the recommended method. That way somebody will be screaming in the comments about it. Luckily, I don't get that much attention yet, so I don't have to worry about it as much. You know what? I'm just going to peel these two guys apart almost. Just do it that way. I'm just going to do that. Probably not quite as neat. Let me find my stripper. I tell you, these are knockoffs, but these are cool. I've got the other kind of older, you know, have the little blades, but these are cool. This might be overkill for this little bit of wire, but we'll see what we get. Pulls it, kind of adjusts and just pulls it right off. Or like that, you've actually cut the wire, which is not what you want to do. That happens sometimes. Ooh, this is a baby wire. Get this one over here. Clip this end. Yeah, there you go. Do whatever works. Sometimes, though, it depends on who's watching and if it's for work or not, right? No comment. All right. Okay, I'm just gonna catch it from the back here. That seems awful thin. Let me, might have gotten some wire with it. Let me get it this way. I'm just going to hit it from the back side real quick. The chat has spoken. All right, I'll be hurt. Well, you know what? If I have to, if we get like, if something happens dramatic here, I will, I'll put a doggone paper clip across that those two pins, and we'll see if it lights up, if it comes to it. You have my word. Oh, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what Steven's going to have planned today. It's going to be fun to see. Check out. All right, let me see. This is I probably got a little bit of that wire, probably, when I strip this off. Oh, this is like threading a needle. Getting old. Oh, man. Oh. There's probably going to be somebody, well, why didn't you do that before you put it in the thing, or this and that. There's always somebody tells you what to do after the fact. I think this is it's supposed to have a couple of like sample programs on it, but man, it might take me a minute to look at the manual and figure out how to flip this doggone switches. So no promises there, but we will hopefully see it light up and not blow up. How about that? Okay. Let's see. I'll stick this right here. And I appreciate you guys watching. That's awesome. I've enjoyed hanging out. Oh, doggone it. Because there are not a lot of, I mean, I love Retro Combs, and he's right around the corner, but I don't have a lot of folks that I hang out with and shoot the breeze about this stuff with, so that's awesome to get to hang out with you all this afternoon here. I appreciate it. All right, we're almost there. Let's see if I can do this without screwing it up. Oh, get in the hole. Okay, stay still. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Oh, I hear you. I'm gonna have one of those. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. You know, I could probably use one now and just save myself some headache. I need one of those little flip down visor doodads, and I would save myself some trouble. And there's no shame in that. You know, it's like a tool, right? Why not use the best tools you got? All right, I'm getting this out of the. I'm getting off of the wrench here. Come on, buddy. There you go. All right. That's not pretty. That last one is not pretty, but it will hold. All right. Let's see if the book says you can juice it up yet. All right. We've got it in there. Hey, it says now is a good time to check the function of your kit. What do you think? All right. You can plug the micro USB cable into that, flip the power switch up, and it should be fully functional. All right. Let's make sure. Here's what happens to me. I'll end up cutting a bunch of stuff off, and I'll bridge a connection and blow something up. But I think we're clear there, right? Micro B. Oh, let me find one. I got one. I just saw one earlier. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I'm not joking. I did. Is this it? Yes, this is it. No, that's not the right one. Is this the right one? This is the right one, I think. Okay. Yeah, Amazon's got everything, man. I need to get one. I remember folks having them back in the day. This just seems like a bad idea. Like there's the way these hangs on his pins like this. Well, you know, never mind. He's got a chassis connector in here. So the normal operation way won't have that laying on it like that. But that's still kind of sketchy. All right, let's get some juice here. All right. Let me see. I guess we can still see if I'm going to knock one of these lights off just for a second. Might make it easier to see if this lights up. Hey, how about that, y'all? I saw a little sequence there. That was pretty cool. Let me I want to turn this one off for a minute too. Might be easier to see. Let's see here. That was pretty cool. Wait a minute, was that the... Okay, I'm going to look down at it this time. Okay, it's going that way. Cool. Now let me see if that's what he says this is supposed to do. So hey, that's pretty good, guys. I think we kind of almost pretty much got this thing done. Pretty cool. All right. Yeah, it says remove the nut holding the power switch in place. So I guess it probably wants us to put the nut on the front of the panel there. Remove the nut holding power switch if you used it and place the acrylic placer. Okay, so it wants us to use the spacer is just not for the install. That spacer goes in when it's done too. You know what? I need to clip these wires off where they went through the front. Oh, that's it. You see what I just did? Don't do that. You saw that, didn't you? I was sitting there cutting that wire off while it's still plugged in, and of course that completed the circuit, which is not terrible, but that's why those LEDs flashed. Don't do that. I got too excited. Oh gosh. All right. So I'm trying to decide. Wait, I need to get this off of here. You know what? I may stop for now. We saw that worked because I probably want to clean this up a little bit, but I'm going to go get something to drink. And I might wrap this one up. That's awesome. I'm excited to get that done. It was just kind of hanging out, and I was like, I wasn't going to do it, but that didn't take that long. And that's even with me yapping my mouth and hanging out with y'all. So cheers. Hey, thanks for watching, and thanks for hanging out again. That was awesome. I appreciate y'all. And I will probably wrap this up. I'm going to either... I may do another live when I finish it up, or the live may just be part of when I make the produced video. I mean, the finished part. But thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you all over at Steven's. So make sure to check out Retro Combs. He's got a live stream starting at 2 here. It's going to be doing some VIC-20 stuff today. So Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys. We will see y'all later. Take care, and bye-bye. If I can figure out my buttons here. Later, Gators. Alrighty.